How important should it be for LeBron to pass Jordan as the GOAT?
It's interesting. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about this even on the way over here. And I almost think that he will absolutely pass Jordan as the GOAT, and not even necessarily because of anything either of them do, but because youth always beats age and all greatness decays. And, you know, when I spent time with Michael for the Cost of These Dreams, and a lot of you guys have spent time around Michael, it's interesting to me that when the questions he's asking himself about what is my legacy, or where will I fit on the Rushmore, or am I the best ever? I mean, it feels to me like those are just simplified versions of him worrying about dying. You know, like it's that everything he built will absolutely be taken from him piece by piece by piece, and it feels like LeBron is just sort of the first instrument of that. You know?
Talking to MJ, did you get the impression that that's what he feels? That something's going to be taken away from him?
I think I got the very distinct impression that he knows that. I watched a debate, it might have even been this show with it, but people were talking about Montana and Brady. And he was just like, wait, watch, they're going to say Brady's better. And he's just very aware of the fact that the new shiny thing will always trump the old dusty thing, no matter how great.
But does he feel, last question, Max, does he feel that way because there's a younger generation on the come up that is witnessing LeBron and that has not seen him? Or does he believe that there are people who actually look at LeBron and him and think that LeBron is better?
No, it's absolutely the first thing. Like, he does not, in no part of him does he think LeBron James is better. I mean, there isn't one cell somewhere floating around in his body that's like,
I was just asking.
That's like, Michael. No, that's not happening. No, you're absolutely correct.
I want to get into the title of the book in a second, but I don't agree with your premise. Babe Ruth is still considered by everyone who knows the greatest baseball player ever. He had his best season in 1920-21. Sugar Ray Robinson was in his prime in 1947, greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Michael Jordan was in his prime in the 90s. He's the greatest basketball player ever. It may be 50 years before someone replaces him.
It may be 50 years, and I would argue that Babe Ruth, you're absolutely correct about Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth is also the outlier for about 9 different reasons for crossing eras. And I would argue that if we go outside on the street right now, not a single person we stopped would say Sugar Ray Robinson. And you say that because you know more about boxing than all but 10 people on the planet. Like, I don't know that if we
I'd
just
like
went
to
out.
meet those 9 other people, but go ahead.
But well, that's great. I bet if we went outside, no one would say that. I bet people would say, I don't know what they would say. They would say Floyd Mayweather. They would say Mike Tyson. They would say whoever was the star when they were watching. To your point about Jordan.
Who does MJ think was the GOAT before him?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think MJ thinks that basketball was born with him. You know what I mean? Like, I think he thinks he is the best player ever and that he transcends all of this. Also,
right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I happen to agree, but I also am the exact right age to agree. Like,
No, but that's my point. I don't think it's about age if you take a serious look at it. You're right in terms of popular opinion, right? Popular opinion, youth will beat age. But in terms of people who take a serious look at it, it's Babe Ruth. It's Sugar Ray Robinson. Maybe it's Lawrence Taylor on defense. Or now it's Tom Brady. It happens to be the guy around right now, right? And it was Michael Jordan.
Well, it was absolutely Michael Jordan. I guess I would argue that the people who were taking the serious look, I mean, the 4 of us, that's not the people it's important to Michael Jordan to exist in the imaginations of. It's important for him to be thought of when he walks. It's the Ted Williams thing. All I want is for when I walk down the street, people to say, there goes the greatest hitter who ever lived. By the way, that's all you want, you narcissist. But, like, I think there's a lot of that you want people to think that.
How does he feel about the notion, whether it's Kobe or to a present degree, LeBron, sort of chasing him or in their own way trying to convince or have tried to convince folks they actually have arrived, that they are the GOAT themselves? How does he feel, MJ feel, about that?
Well, it's so funny. I sat one evening and we watched, I don't know, 3 or 4 straight basketball games, which is just a really profound thing to do, to watch him watch.
That's right.
But he, and you know this very well, but it's the era. Oh, they didn't have to play in my era. If they had to play in my era, he views himself as just individually better, but also the competition that he played with, he views as extraordinarily more talented and difficult than theirs.
Speak to what I'm about to say here, and I've told Max this on several occasions. when you have guys like him, all of those great champion Hall of Famers, their number one thing isn't even about judging an athlete, a successor to them. It's about making sure the standards that you apply to them are applied to these guys. Nothing offends them more than changing the standard and sort of making the path to prosperity easier for the successor as opposed to them.
Oh, that is exactly true. It's like the line from that TV show, The West Wing, I love, where Toby's complaining about they changed the SAT score standards and it made him dumber, like 20 years after he took the test. Jordan absolutely wants the line to be held about how the game is played, how you prepare for it, how you're a professional. And so he sees the assault on the idea of him as the GOAT, not just as having to do with the players who are doing it, but this decaying culture that he views as essential to the game. No, you're absolutely correct. You get to your 50s, and all those traits that are so hard won that made you Michael Jordan are now not only useless, they're worse than useless, because those are the things that are actively conspiring to keep you from enjoying having been Michael Jordan. And so, like, when you talk about all these really great athletes, I have met very few of them who I think are in their 60s who are happy, who are content with all of their choices, who, if they had it to do over again, would do it the same way.
The movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Can you be Michael Jordan and be a normal person? It's not possible.
Well, yeah, and even more than that, what do you do when you used to be Michael Jordan and now you aren't? And now there's LeBron James. Now there's the fact that your knees don't work like they used to. Like simple aging stuff that happens to all of us must come as an enormous shock and betrayal to someone like Michael Jordan.